My title here is athletic director with Metro Police Athletic League, as well as boxing coach.
You guys want to start?
Yes. What does boxing mean to you, and can you just kind of describe your background on how you came up and how the Metro Police Athletic League, you and them came about?
Yeah, sure. I was kind of bred into the boxing world. My father was a amateur professional fighter. In the amateurs, he was a state Golden Gloves state champion. He got to fight professionally. He got ranked in the world before he got drafted for the Korean War. And I had his brothers as well. I had Flory Olguin, who was also ranked worldwide. So I was kind of bred to be, kind of in a sense, a boxer. Now, I went and I competed for the Police Athletic League. At that time, it was called Albuquerque Police Athletic League. I started at 8 years of age when the PAL was at the old Albuquerque High in the basement. Then it got moved to there on Central by Edith. Fought for them until I was about 18 years old. And then I went into the Marine Corps and I did some fighting in the Marine Corps. And then when I got out of the Marine Corps, I fought again, amateur. Then I went to turn pro at that point.
Flory, this whole situation seems to revolve around the city claiming this building is unsafe. You're saying it's not, correct? So why?
That is correct. Because not just did the city themselves come and say that it was okay for us, that it was safe enough for us to start our programs, because they're the ones that brought us here. They're the ones that moved us from another location there off of Wyoming, which is the building that we actually went into partnership with. That was a building that was 5 times this size. So we left the building of this approximate size when we were on our own. So when we partnered up, we went there, but then when they took us out of that building, they brought us here. They told us, the building has some cosmetic issues. It does have some issues, but we're going to remedy those issues in time, and you guys can just move forward and do your thing. And that's the way it started off. We were up and running until I got a city inspector from the city came and notified us that this building was condemned. And to find out later that the building was never condemned. So, and also it's been, as of recently, other city officials have come through here. They did their inspections, and we all sat down and they said it was good enough for us to continue. That's when they gave us an end date of December of 2024, and for us to possibly going into another long-term contract after that.
One more for me. Just can you kind of describe the impact that unfortunately this could have if the Metro Police Athletic League does not continue on our community, on our up and coming, fighters, kids that use it just to be physical? Just what kind of negative impact could this have?
Okay, I want to state that the PAL program is not just boxing. We've had multiple sports here. We've had wrestling, karate, judo, mentorship programs. Unfortunately, from us being down, up, down, and up, we haven't been able to bring the other programs online. That's what we were hoping to get done now. Now that this latest time that the city said we could reopen. So we were going to get the other programs up and running. But being that it is the boxing program that is running, it's a big deal, because the kids that we deal with, for the most part, are the kids that ain't playing Little League Baseball, for football. A lot of them come with one parent, some with no parents. They come from having some issues that they can't afford to play Little League Baseball and for football. They can't, the expense. This is a program that we offer for free. And if they participate and they let's say, for example, they win a state championship and they have to go represent in Colorado for the regionals, we cover those expenses. We move them forward. That it's never having to be burdened to the child or to the family, if there's any. And the last point is that in some of these kids who come here, this is the family that they really know. This is where they kind of learn what roles and responsibilities are. This is where they get out of the street and they come here and they learn what morals and values are. And they get a team atmosphere where it becomes family, and they support each other. I support them. they support me. It is like one big family, and it saddens me every time I have to tell these kids that we're shutting down, or if we're moving to another location, because if we, like the one in Wyoming, we have to tell those kids that we're moving to this location. Well, the majority of them couldn't follow us, and it's heartbreaking to see them when they're you know, when they're tearing and crying that, hey, coach, come on, you know how, you know, my family, they can't take me there, and but the thing is, when we, that's why when we moved from that location to here, we asked the city for a contract. We said, let's get that MOU, and they created an MOU. We've been following it. We've been doing everything that the city's been asking us to do to remain open. Unfortunately, some people in the city have other reasons to why they want this building. I've had multiple excuses to why and how come. First one starting out that there's a road project that this city was, the reason why it was condemned is because they're going to knock it down so they can make a roadway to go all the way to Alameda. Well, that became a no-go. That didn't happen. But they continued to use that for at least about a year after. Once they found out that we knew that it wasn't happening, then it became a thing, well, it's a safety issue. But then I'm like, if it's a safety issue, why would you put us there in the first place? Why would you bring us in there? And that's when we found out that that they supposedly made the building condemned, when in reality it never was. And how, you know, and so every time that we get shut down, it's like a light switch. We shut the lights off, everything stops and seizes. When we start it back on, half the kids, they're off and doing something else, we lose them. The ones that do come back, it's great that we have them back, but then they're waiting for the next time we have to shut down, because in this 7-8 years that we've been doing, since we've been in this building, we've been closed here probably about 8-9 times. You know, COVID did come. We had to follow regulations, and we abided by those regulations. We were open for a time, but then when they shut us down totally for reasons that are not true, and then we find out about it, that's very damaging to our program in general. Not just the funding that we lose, because we don't get no funding when we're closed. We only get funding when we're open to a certain, we have to be open to a certain length of time before we can get federal grants, that we can get our sponsorships to donate money to us. So we lose out on all that. So when walking into our partnership on Wyoming, we were asked to do something. Well, we put about $25,000 of our own money into that building over there. Got it up and running to the point where the City of Albuquerque APD asked us if we would let them use it because they lost their contract on base. Brought them in, let the city come and utilize the building during the daytime. They liked it so much, they asked the mayor for it. The mayor gave it to them. At that point though, we didn't have a firm contract with them. That was still being ongoing. So being that there was no contract, they were able to just move us out. So when we got here, when they said they had a building for us to still utilize, that's when we asked, well, we need a contract. We can't just go blindly like we did the last time. So we came in here. And, you know, for this building, they're saying that it's unsafe. I, myself, would not put my kids, which I do. I've had my daughters in here training. I wouldn't put any of the kids in here in an unsafe area. Now, is there cosmetic issues? Yeah, there's some holes in some walls that could be patched up. When it rains, we do have a leak in the auditorium. We have to put a bucket there to catch. Those are all things that we've already told the city that needs to be repaired back in 2016. But they hadn't come to do the repairs. I had offered to do the repairs. I said, well, you know, we'll do it, but they told us we could not do it. They'd have to be a city to do it. But it wasn't until recently when the city had, before we found out that the building wasn't condemned, that they said they were going to move us to a building in Princeton. There was another building about the same footage as this, about 15,000 square feet. We went looking. We saw about 4 buildings. We chose one building. It was with us and the city choosing the same building. They went and to go lease it, they had to go and bargain with the owners to try to get the lease. They spent about 2.5 months doing it. The city pulled out of no reason with the owners, and at that point in time is when they pulled out of there, they put us with another section with the city, and they said, okay, let's see what we can do, where we're going to put you. But then they checked into this building, they came in and checked it, and they said, there's nothing wrong with the building, we're going to keep you there. And so that's when the date of December 24th came, and then they said they're going to go ahead and start doing repairs. In the past, we never had heat in the weight room and in the back office back there. They got that running just recently, maybe a couple of months ago. They started working on the heat for this area. They got parts on order. Unfortunately, when we were shut down, we had a break-in where they broke in through the front door and through the side windows, where we had to go ahead and put we had to kind of fix it up to keep the people out. They came and they brought a glass company to come and do the measurements, and they put those things on order. But when this came, recently, 2-3 weeks ago, when we got the letter stating that we had to vacate again, they got told, the area that we were working with got told that what was going on, and to cease all repairs to the building. So everything got put on hold. So that's where we stand at this point. Other than now, as of last week, we got told by Mr. Whalen from the mayor's office that not just do they want us to vacate,